Check, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey man, I'm gonna try to get Eric Allen on first if I can. And yeah. Let me check the other microphone, the guest mic. Here we go. Hold on.
I saw him.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. What game are we doing again? I didn't think we had this game right. I want to make sure we got it right. Number 7, Sea of Hands. So we did Ghost to the Post. We did the Charger Raider game. Yesterday we did the Heidi game. Yeah, today I had Red Right 88 on my notes, but we're saying it's Sea of Hands. Okay, we changed it. Okay. Yeah, okay, I got it. Hold on. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, Heidi Ball, Sea of Hands. Good. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Same thing, wait to see when we get a guest. So, they might give us Andre James, so we'll see. Yep. Okay, let's talk about that now. Hold on one second. In case everything doesn't come through right out of the gate. Let me double check that.
JT.
Yeah. It's under Patrick Graham. Yep. Okay. Okay, I like 01, Bobby. I like 501 for Graham. 503, Jack Jones. 505, The Importance. Kuntz Improvement, 508. And 10. So 1, 3, 5, 8, 10.
Wilkins. For picks, if we're talking. No. We're talking to Spillane, Jack Jones, Samir White, and Samir.
All right. What's happening, everyone?
I just sent you a text on who's talking.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, you want to do the one thing you can't live without during camp?
Yeah, like I saw him talking to you guys as walking.
Or you get spilled. I think he's done this person. So.
What's going on, everybody? Got Andre James coming up. We got a couple players today. Our our top 10 game is the Sea of Hands.
You got some rips in you right now.
EA, you ready to go? 12:05. We got about 6-7 minutes. So take a break, get a water.
All right, let me get
Come in.
I'll come back.
I'm coming in hot today.
All right.
Let's go. Yeah, we got about 10 minutes.
Okay. No, please tell me you're asking these questions of the players.
Well, that was my idea. You know where it's from, right?
There he goes. Working. Workers break. More records.
You might send some of that video every time.
Really?
I just get that every time. They're not lifting today, so the pros are not pretty quickly.
Dope.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
It's set. Shopbridger.com for the product. Pardon me.
What up, man? How you doing, bro? Good to see you guys.
He just stepped over here.
All right, cool.
Ooh, wait.
How we feeling, man? I'm good, man. I thought it was good, man. Yeah, it is.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Right.
Cool. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Want water coming around?
Yeah.
Ball.
All right, Andre James up first.
Got it like a couple weeks ago.
So San Francisco area.
They were watching the room. What's the E? You know, you can bring them a plate. You're going at it.
I'm just here. I always do that.
Oh, really?
Just for me.
It's fun, though.
You're trying to get too technical. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
no.
run the
I'll
ball.
run the ball.
Oh, come on. You can't run the ball.
All the time, man.
The weather's great. The energy's great. Had a really good practice again today. The offense looks good. Andre James is going to join us here live in a moment. They're cutting the grass in front of us.
Everything, bro.
Friends out here, man.
Leave somewhere. It just gets better.
Bro,
I don't get paid. Yeah, I do not
My wife is.
I don't know how to play on
Yes, but no.
There's one of these toxic.
Why are you sending it to Alexis?
Yeah, she said.
I grew in
Sunset. Yeah.
We need to drop this, Lord.
Yeah, I'll probably do Andre James right into it. I think until 25. I'll do him for the He doesn't.
That's good.
I mean, I think
Still fast.
You like it for real.
We're going to keep this straight off the side.
Playing so many games. You're playing with freaking long.
The second
Just getting my head to that way. How much time, please? Thanks, guys. Got about a minute. There he is.
What's up, man?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thanks for doing
Good,
this.
of course, man. Anytime.
Everything is great.
Oh,
Excited to get enough of the radio. I'm excited to go to Vegas for a couple of weeks, man. One of the hottest summers I've ever had in all my years here.
Yeah.
You know,
It's nice, man. You got this heat. You get here.
I'll ask you, did you get a vacation? Did you go anywhere big?
Yeah, so I got married. Yeah, so I got married, man. And then,
Congrats.
yeah, we did a little mini moon. Yeah. So,
Where was the mini
yeah.
moon? What'd you
We
do?
went up, it's a place called Bolinger in it's like in southern Utah.
Good, good.
Kind of by Lake, you're familiar with Lake
Yeah,
Powell?
yeah, I know
Yeah.
Lake Powell well.
Yeah, so it's like right next to Lake
Well,
Powell.
it was a mini, so you're going to do a bigger one.
Yeah,
down
that's right.
the road.
Next year,
Yeah, there you go.
Europe. And,
Good.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's been good, man.
You know, everyone's going to Europe. I'm sure your wife, looking at her Facebook, going, when do we have time to go?
He's like, everyone's traveling.
Yeah, no doubt at all.
It's beautiful. I wanted to check it out.
Where did you, when you trained at UCLA, right there? I mean, identical to this, a little bit warmer there. It was closer to the valley, right?
Yeah, you get that nice little cool breeze. Like it gets hot, but you get a cool off that ocean breeze, so it's nice.
You like practicing early in the group and then some of those.
Yeah, I like morning. Morning guys. So, yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, get that right up there. Perfect. Yeah, right up there. Perfect. Yeah. All right, we're out of the gate and we are live from Costa Mesa, Raiders training camp. Day number 2 for me on the flagship of the Silver and Black and also on the Raiders mobile app. Andre James, kind enough to join me. Really appreciate starting off the show with you. And congratulations on getting married.
Yeah, thank you, JT. Appreciate having me.
That's a big deal. I mean, that's a life moment. We'll hold up on football for a minute. Congratulations, your family, her family. What a great blessing. How is it?
Yeah, super excited. I mean, she's been awesome. We've been together since high school, so it was only a matter of time. And yeah, I'm just very fortunate. I'm a lucky man.
And you got to kind of mix and match that around your training and obviously camp coming up here. And now with your great career at UCLA to come down here in an area you're familiar with. How's it been so far?
It's been great. It's beautiful. The weather's always amazing. You get that nice, cool ocean breeze from the ocean not too far away, and it's awesome. You eliminate distractions and just get together with guys and have a good time.
I watched it today, and as we get ready for Colton to come back and Jackson Powers Johnson later on, and we'll wait to hear what their status will be down the road. The depth of this offensive line is better than it's been since you've been here. What was that like today as you're mixing and matching and you're running the ball pass protection with this new look offensive line?
It's awesome. We have a great room. We have an amazing offensive line coach. I'm excited to get after it. All these guys are as well. We're very competitive in like a lot of the positions are on this team, and yeah, we're just excited to work and keep getting better each day.
Do you feel like there's an added sense of urgency with physicality now with this new regime here and how you can power run the ball and really take it to the opponent?
Oh yeah, you can feel it. We're not in pads yet, but you can feel the anticipation boiling.
No, when you're not in pads, and again, I know you love to be in pads, and that's coming next week.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the off season with your workout, I mean, you look tremendously fit. What changed this year with your off season workouts? Because again, you're getting married, but I know how focused you are always on fitness.
Yeah, I stay here. I stay in Vegas pretty much my whole year round. Training with AJ and the straight staff, and they do an awesome job. Just everything is pretty much how it is during the season. We just bump everything up a little bit. And nutrition's awesome. You got your free meals there, so you can't beat that. And then I love Vegas. So
yeah, talk about that meal room, man. Right? Like even if you're not there that day, it's worth getting there and bringing a meal home,
man.
right?
They do a great job. It's fun getting guys from other teams and like, man, this food is unbelievable. I'm like, yeah, that's how we do it here.
Andre James is our guest. The other thing about staying in Vegas, I really believe before we even got here, and we were up in Oakland, I always talked about the importance of recruiting players to Vegas and to stay here. And you just nailed it. If you're playing, nothing against Cincinnati or New Orleans or Jacksonville, but a lot of those players don't live there year round. They have places there, and then they go back home and train. But I'm there in the off season a lot, and I can't believe the amount of guys that are there every day, led by Max Crosby.
Oh yeah, you got your core guys. Max, Colton, me. We're all there year round working, and it's great. We love it. I think it is easy to recruit guys to Vegas. Yeah, tax I think was one of the biggest things. No
sure.
State tax, and then sheep. I feel like a lot of people just know the Strip, and then once you get outside of the Strip and really experience Vegas and Henderson, Summerlin, it's a really truly amazing place.
So I watched Brock Bowers today on a couple of these releases as he comes across the middle of the field, and I'm all in on him. I think in order for the Raiders to have an above-average year, a playoff year, I expect playoff contention, obviously. Someone like him could really flip the switch here really easy. What is it like after you snap the ball and you look up and you see him coming across the middle of the field? Tell me about him as the athlete.
No, he's a great athlete. He made a catch today, and I heard one of the DBs, he's going to be a problem. Yeah, so it's fun watching him work and see how he's growing each day. His focus is just like none other, and it's been amazing.
What's the obvious difference between him and Michael Mayer, other than Michael's bulk and size there as they're running routes and you're pass protected?
I think you can use them in different ways. Like you said, Michael's definitely a little bigger, and you can use him in some blocking schemes. But yeah, they're both great athletes. It's going to be fun to be able to use them as a duo, and what both they're going to be great at doing.
Tell me about Luke Getsy and what he's just like in the building and practice and his demeanor, and if there's something he needs to correct, what's it like being with him?
No, he brings that energy every day. It's fun being in meetings with him. He's a great guy. And I think this offense fits who we are as players, and it's going to be exciting once we throw these pads on. We really start to be able to run this ball and get this thing going.
Andre James, as we wrap it up. So for me, you've known me a while now. For radio, it's all about me and the fans and giving them interaction with someone like you. I'm kind of pissed off this year because of the national media attention. Team won 8 games last year. I think it's obvious the team's roster is better. Most teams are better the following year because of a draft and free agency. Other than losing Josh Jacobs, now we have 2 quarterbacks competing here. What is your sense of urgency like? Because a lot of the fans are saying, wait, where's the Raider coverage on ESPN? Where is it on NFL Network? Why am I not hearing more about the Raiders, a team that was on the cusp of the playoffs last year?
We hear that outside noise, whether we like it or not, and it lights a fire underneath us. But at the end of the day, we just want to block out all that noise and all that shit, and we just want to focus on who we are as a team and just the competitive nature. And we only want to get 1% each day, and you can feel the guys that we have in this building. It's just a work mentality, and that's only going to make us better each day.
Yeah, I had a listener who told me, he goes, "This reminds us of the old Raider days with the chip on their shoulder." Now that you've played with Devontae this long, you've played with Max this long, you've signed a contract and you're going to be here for a while. I mean, it really seems like the sense of urgency now is pointing towards that Charger game. It's not next week. It's not the week after that, but it's a monster game right out of the gate in your backyard, the backyard of the Raider Nation.
Yeah, we're excited, man. Excited for week 1, and we're just excited to get to work each day here, just being together here in this beautiful place. And yeah, it's fun. Hey,
behind me is Zamir White before you go, and I just went up and watched him as he's starting his press conference. Tell us about him, our listeners and people who don't got a chance to know him because Josh was the feature back. In those final 4 games, when you were coming out of the huddle with him, what'd you notice him? He seems like he's a quiet guy, but he runs like a beast.
Yeah, he's a dog. he might not say a lot, but he does the talking with his pads, and that's what you want from a running back like that.
Personal goals for you this year. You're a great team leader here, but overall for you on the cusp of taking your career to the next level, what do you want to do personally?
Yeah, I just want to take that next step. Like you said, I want to be able to lead this team. I want to win more games.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's all I care about, and that's what a lot of these guys, that's all they care about. And that's just what we want to do.
Finally, with your wife now, as I've always told you, as you think about your future with the foundation, charity work, and what you want to do, give us a look behind the scenes of what you think about community, the community in Utah, the community in Southern California, your family and friends, and what you're looking to do over the next 5 years to get back.
It's been awesome. I feel like I'm right in the middle of being able to be in Utah, and Vegas is right between Utah and California, so I'm right in the middle of it for the last almost decade. It's been amazing. I work with the American Cancer Society to help. It's been awesome. He teamed up with them and everything.
I've been working with them for 2 decades. It's a tremendous group. You know why, Andre? Because with the American Cancer Society, all the donations and the money are going to stop cancer and fight cancer. You're not worried about 20% of it going here or for a golf tournament or this and that. Whenever the American Cancer Society teams up with you, they're all business on trying to stop cancer. That's a great group to work with.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be working with them.
Good luck. I hope to talk to you a bunch on the
Thank you,
radio.
JT.
Thanks a
Appreciate
lot, man. There he is, Andre James, as we started off here. Good to get him on. You were able to see that if you're on our YouTube stream, and we appreciate him coming on. Big difference with him, man. He's a hell of a player. He's a leader. He's a character guy, and he's the type of guy who can really change the culture of running the football going forward. So JT, live from Costa Mesa. We are here for day number 2, and we're excited to be here. We got a lot of guests lined up, a lot of insiders who are going to be here. So if you want to jump in, and we'll get to our top 10 game of all time. And how about this guy, if you're watching on our YouTube stream? The great Eric Allen joins us live here on a day where he spent a lot of time at practice and watching the defensive side. But overall, good day yesterday on YouTube. I'm trying to stream a little bit, but you had the big YouTube show yesterday with Amber.
Did. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Just the fan base and the camaraderie. I always thought it was a best idea in training camp to get away. And so you can kind of isolate yourself a little bit. This job is critically important. Everyone's trying to, for training camp, you're trying to make a living, right? The team concept is always there for, the top guys, but for those, second, third team, string guys, they're trying to provide a lifestyle for their families. So it's really important to get away so you can concentrate, get your all.
I would imagine, because you said as a player in your long, illustrious career, you always went away to camp.
Always.
Can you imagine EA being let to go home after camp to go back to the kids, play some hoop at the Y, barbecue in the backyard, chipping putt? That's not how you play football.
That's not how you get it done, JT. You have to find a way to get together with your brothers on the team and work some things out and just have a good time and be invested in those guys. So when you're in the huddle, you kind of understand, like, hey, man, we went through a difficult camp. We practiced hard together, but we have each other's back.
I saw you yesterday standing under the shade tree with the head coach, Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
And again, I know a lot of that is private, but what can you tell our listeners about the conversation? You played in the era with him.
Yeah.
He respects you a lot. You respect him. And as he tries to put this formula together and the foundation, which starts now in Costa Mesa.
Well, I think the most important thing is to understand what he is trying to bring to this organization, just not as a head coach, but he's really concerned about the fan base. He's concerned about the legacy that he wants to leave. He enjoys the alumni always being around. I talked to him a lot about, not being intimidated by having coaches who have been through things and understand some things. He's always trying to get better. And that's the conversation I had with him. It's like, Marvin Lewis and these guys are, what's going on? He's like, EA, just like a player has to get coaching, I need to get it. I'm not afraid to. I want to get better every day. I don't have all the answers. And these guys have been through the battles. They can give me some advice. And when it comes down to it, I'm going to make the best decision for this football team. But it's great to have those outstanding minds around me so we can all push this thing forward.
Eric Allen is our guest. What I find fascinating about that is there's a lot of new coaches, head coaches that become, they were offensive coordinators or defense coordinators, never coached a game. And you never heard of their names, right? And then all of a sudden they come in and you get about 2 or 3 years to prove yourself and you're out if you don't win. He's different. He's a Super Bowl champion linebacker under Tom Coughlin. He brought Copeland in as a consultant, which was brilliant. Then he brings in Joe Philbin.
Yeah.
And he has Marvin Lewis here and a bunch of coaches. Go back to Rob Ryan and all his Super Bowl rings. And I just sensed yesterday when he was talking to you, he didn't have to be in the middle. He was talking to you because he wants to kind of haste this thing along, even though there's a sense of urgency because there's only 9 practices left after today here in Costa Mesa in Vegas.
Did you hear what you just said? There's only 9 practices left. We haven't even been in pads yet.
Yeah.
And AP is an old school guy.
Yeah,
he wants to see
like
the pads.
he wants to be in
He wants to
pads.
see the pads on.
Right.
So, and you know, when I'm around, not only do I speak with him, but Al Luganville, who's on the staff and does a great job of evaluating players and just sitting down trying to pick their brain. And it's all the same thing. How can we get this football team and to be able to push it faster? Because the old adage is, hey, you have to. It's a journey. You know, one year after another. They don't want to be on that journey.
No,
they want to hit the ground running and have a defense that kind of controls the ball and does a great job of getting after the quarterback. And then on the other hand, being able to dominate on offense, run the football effectively, get those things that are really critical off the running game, being able to utilize your skill position guys. But when it comes down to it, JT, and you've been around football as long as anyone here, you understand that to be Magic, to have a great year, you have to have great camaraderie. Everyone has to buy in, and the coach feels like he has really given that message. So there's guys on the team who will continue to push the envelope. We all know, Max is the guy on defense. Devontae wants to be here. We had a great conversation with him yesterday. He loves being here. He loves AP and understands like the message. And so AP can kind of sometimes sit back and he doesn't have to always bark out what the message is because the team has really adopted what he's trying to sell.
Eric Allen's with me. We're also streaming live on YouTube. If you want to go to the YouTube page, JT the Brick YT, and on the Raiders mobile app. So a couple of things about Devontae. There was a lot of noise about the Netflix series, but it was all about last year, and it pinpointed sound that we didn't hear, and we're privy to a lot of good sound because he was mic'd up from Netflix. It wasn't like the Raiders were taking that sound of him getting blown up and putting it out on social media. So I even think fans in the Raider Nation were saying, whoa, what was Devontae saying about, I got to get out of here. I'm getting blown up. I'm getting killed out there. That was a point in the season before the transition out of Josh McDaniels into Antonio Pierce. After that, he seemed like he was inspired to have a voice. We found out that was the reason why Aiden O'Connell stayed there the entire year at that position. So what was the demeanor like yesterday when you and Amber Theo Harris talked to Devontae? What did you take away?
Well, I thought he was authentic, and that's really important. And those frustration bits we saw in the Netflix special were real, and they were true at the time. Yeah, he was letting you in, and it was the first time, really, because he was telling us, he's like, usually I don't want to be out in front. I want to let my play speak for itself, kind of the old Jerry Rice kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
And he said, I stepped out my box a little bit, and it was refreshing. And I don't want to, make a habit of it, but those first, couple weeks when we were struggling and things weren't going well, I was frustrated, and you saw that. There's nothing I should apologize for. But when you watch him after the coaching change, and even when he's not involved in the play, I love his energy, and he's so happy for his other players making big time plays. You see him on the backside when Myers scores a touchdown, and you see how proud he is of what's going on. So those are things that Raider Nation should take account of, not the stuff that was broadcast in the beginning of the season.
Wrap it up with Eric Allen. So let's get to your expertise on defense. Assuming Jack Jones is healthy, he's number one on one side. The depth on the other side. What are you specifically looking at? Because we're not in pads yet. Footwork, the ability in red zone, length, athletic ability with face on, when we want to see what's going to happen with Ja'Cory Bennett from last year and what's going to happen with some of the young guns that they brought in here competing there. Because I'd like to see a veteran on the other side. I'd like to see someone who's been in the league, and it could be a free agent. It could be a player that gets cut down from another team on cut downs here. What do you expect to see that type of player on the other side of Jack?
Yeah, and that's a great point, JT. And I think this next 7-8 days will determine if we're going to be in the market for a veteran cornerback.
Great point.
I think right now, Faison and Bennett are going to really have to battle and compete on the other side. And as you see, one may take the first team reps, but the other guy is about 20 yards deep doing the same thing. And so when he changes out, Faison goes back 20 yards deep. So they're getting mentally the same reps all day long in team in 7-on-7, which is critically important. Great job by the coaching staff allowing them to see and be involved with the first team on all the reps. What I need to see is them to understand route combinations, not just if I can cover the guy in front of me, but how does that receiver fit in the offense of style that I see right now? What's the situation? Am I communicating well with my safety? Do I understand what the safety's responsibility is? So all those things lead me to believe a more mature guy like Faison, who's played a little while, will have the advantage. But that's when the athleticism comes in, right? So we're not going to have a situation where you're forced to play bump and run. We don't have any, Charles Woodsons or Willie Browns. But if you can adapt your style to this new system, you can really flourish. I don't think we're going to have a guy who's going to be able to play left and right, because that's the first thing. You have a lockdown corner like Jones, like Jack. You say to yourself, hey, he can travel with the best receiver. But if you do that, how is the other cornerback going to adapt to that? Maybe he's better on the left side than the right. So there's a lot of things there. But I think in the end, I think Bennett and Faison really have to go have a great battle these next week or so to figure out if we're going to be in the market for a veteran guy come free agency.
You played with two of the greatest defensive players of all time in Jerome Brown and Reggie White. God rest their souls, right? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they made you better, right? Because it was less time, right?
Yes.
So you were able to jump routes. You were able to play off them. Now I look at Christian Wilkins and Max, but there's also Malcolm Kuntz.
Yes.
And then I know you see what I see with Tyree Wilson, everybody. There's something going on with you guys. Zamir White and Tyree Wilson. Whatever they're eating, who's ever feed them, Deuce Gruden still here pumping the weights with them.
Yeah.
But the addition of Christian Wilkins and how it will help the cornerbacks and the safeties.
Oh, man, to have a tackle who can get after it on third down or second down, wherever they're throwing the football, to be able to have a guy interior who can push the pocket, that gives cornerbacks and safeties and nickelbacks, an opportunity to jump some routes because the ball is going to come out a little faster. We love that when you're talking about a cornerback. That ball's coming out because they're afraid. That it all starts up front. We have outstanding, one of the best football players in National Football League, and Max Crosby. And I tell you, Wilkins is not far from being the most dominant interior guy. And then you love the aspect. I mean, Kuntz came on at the end of the season. They said, hey, you know what? There's a couple things you do great. Do those things until they stop you. So he finished the season off with a really great. And you're right. Today I was standing with some former teammates of mine.
Eric Barton,
ABB, and he didn't know Tyree. And he stopped in the middle of our conversation, JT, and looked and said, "Who is that right there?" It seems like he's just grown even more. I mean, the wingspan is there. He's a man child.
I describe him as Kevin Durant, but with another 250 pounds.
You're right. You're right. I love the aspect of them getting to that speed package, where if we remember back to the Giants in their Super Bowl years where they had 4 guys who could rush the passer. Now you implement him in that front 4. Maybe he's playing tackle, and you have 4 guys who can get up to the passer.
Well, he's got to play tackle, right? He's going to play because look, unless you can't move Kuntz and Max. Max doesn't come off the field.
Right.
Kuntz deserves to stay on the field after last year.
He does.
You got Big John Jenkins in the middle, and I just think there are times where you can get Tyree Wilson in for Jenkins, maybe in a situation where it's run dominant. But you're playing against a play-action quarterback who might decide to get the T tackles to bite, and Tyree Wilson can take off to the quarterback.
Yes, right now you expect him in those situations to be inside, and then occasionally he can work his way outside if there's a tremendous running football team and Kuntz is tired and wants to tap out. Hey, you know what? You put Tyree in, you allow him to really hold the edge. That's what's important here.
Yeah, you point that out a lot.
The edge is so critical. And if you talk to any coach, defensive guy, that's like the first thing they talk about is holding the edge. So those kind of things are a work in progress. I have no doubt that this coaching staff has proven that they can evaluate and get the best out of players in a short amount of time. And I know this coaching staff defensively is going to really put their heads all around Tyree to make him the best possible player he can be.
Last one. What did you learn last year as a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame that leads you to believe not only we know you're one step closer, but we've been friends a long time. Very dramatic. I mean, highs and lows. I mean, you're waiting for all that. Your wife, who I know well. So all of that is behind you as you get a chance again and again to get in front of these voters. What can we sense this year, and what'd you learn last year? How'd you get through that?
Yeah, it was difficult, you
Yeah.
know, and I appreciate all the help from you specifically, and the Raiders, Eagles, everybody.
Sal Powell.
Yeah, everybody's on board. We have to get started a little earlier, and I think that's the main thing.
There you
Getting
go.
started a little earlier. You're on that final journey, and getting that phone call like a couple days before saying I didn't make it. And it took me a while to process it.
Yeah.
It really did, because I thought, hey, you know what? The numbers, the guys who are in, whose numbers are similar, and we played in the same era, and we didn't play the same style, right? And my style, Eagles and Raiders, consistently 14 years, I've always been a part of a team that played a lot of one-on-one coverage, right? You got to cover this guy, you know? So it was hard. It was hard, you know, but I'm excited about this year. This is the last year before I go to the veterans. So this is important. It's an important year. So
Wow, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
this is the last year, of that type of push. You have the Eagles, you have the Raiders, you have some members, you got the fans.
Yeah,
who are always there for
they're
you
always
too.
there. Yeah, by
So-
the torch. You know, when we show up church pregame, they're always there for us.
You know, this year we don't get to the torch till week 3.
Right.
And we're going to be calling the preseason games as Jason Horowitz goes up to the TV booth. I like our preseason schedule because I think the guys got to play. I really do.
Yes.
I mean, look, everybody. The only way people don't want anybody to play in the preseason is injury. You can get injured out here.
Yes,
Not cool. You can get injured in camp. You can get injured working out with your teammates. So I think AP as a former player, I hope he just lets it fly in the preseason. I'm not talking about showing the playbook
Right.
the first 2 games, but let the guys
Play.
really play. And maybe we're calling a game in the 3rd quarter in the preseason when
With
we're
some guys.
not reading promos
Right.
about season tickets.
Or talking about the new kickoff rules, so
I'm counting on you for that.
yeah, I've been over there kind of checking it out right now, trying to see what the advantage is. And I threw out a couple, hey, I think this is an advantage for the kickoff team. And all the coaches are like, no, it's not.
I got that pushback yesterday.
Very
with Amir
interesting.
Abdullah. They pushed right back on me on what he thinks is going to happen. Hey, thanks for doing this.
Anytime.
Yeah, you driving back? This week?
Going back down the coast.
So just go watch that 805 merge, man. Well, listen to this. One quick thing. I'm leaving Friday. I'm driving back to Vegas, and I was talking to one of my buddies last night. He's like, "Man, you're leaving right after 2?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "No shot." I go, "Wait a second. What do you mean no shot?" He goes, "No shot. You won't get to the 15. You're gonna hit the wall." And I'm like, "No, I've done this before. I'll get to the guy. No shot. You might as well stay till 6. And if you're gonna stay anywhere until 6 p.m., I might as well be here."
Yeah, not bad.
Have a good one, Ian.
You too, my man.
There he
Talk
is,
to you soon.
everybody. Eric Allen joining us on the flagship of the Silver and Black. When we come back, we're going to get into our top 10 games of all time. Kevin Bollinger's here. We're going to talk to him coming up. And the game today is Sea of Hands. How about that? One of the greatest games of all time. I talked to one person who had it ranked number 1. I'm coming in at number 7 with it. So my list better be strong. Sea of Hands comes in today. So if you remember Sea of Hands, let's hear from you. We're live from Costa Mesa, brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo. All right, everyone packing up shop around here?
Yeah, I gotta get to the room.
All right, JT.
Take care. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, just do the same thing. Just disconnect and turn off. We this morning when we got here, there was no power. The generator was off, so I turned the generator off.
Dude, I don't know what you haven't done. From Super Bowls to engineering to turning power on.
Like, let's just find the generator and turn it off.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
I appreciate you.
Hey, Bobby, Kevin.
Yeah, I'll be back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Cool. We'll grab you on Wednesday.
We got about 4 or 5 minutes, Kevin. We're good. I'll pop out here. With you for a second. Just
Yeah. All right.
that's good.
Good deal.
Thank you. Be good.
All right.
I know it's not full speed, but
Yeah, yeah.
For, whoever's going to win, the other one's going to be there to.
Right. What's going on? Any Golden Knights fun talk? I mean, are we going to be able to be as competitive as the last couple of years, or is that roster?
I don't know. Are they done? I don't know if they're done. I mean, I know there's not free agents there.
There's a lot of good players on that team still.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good players on that team who signed the big contracts.
Are they done? They're going to make a move somewhere, even if it's early in the season, to bolster it up. But they're going to kind of see maybe where they're at, and then see where they're going to need some help, and then go take care of it.
Yep.
They've got a little bit of room for the first time in a while. They're usually always up against the cap.
Yeah, they got some real move. What's happening, everybody? All right. Trying to build out this YouTube channel, which is going well. Just trying to get it's like the next evolution of radio now. I have we got the mobile app, as everyone knows. We got the YouTube. We got the radio station. But what's great about this station is, man, the amount of people who are listening on the app is really good. So we got like a full-on national show, so it's nice.
Well, especially, with Raider Nation, it truly is. It's worldwide. It's not just the nation. I have a buddy who lives in Prague who's a diehard Raiders fan. So
look at that.
He's all in on everything. So people want to know.
How much time, Bobby? Okay. Yeah, we'll talk to you a little bit later about Vince too. So. But yeah. So how did Zamir White look?
He's just a big, solid dude that can, in terms of like yards after contact. Goodness.
How bigger can he get? I was telling everybody watching and talking to Eric Allen, I don't think there's any possibility for him to get bigger in this league. He's about as big of a low body back. I've seen Saquon Barkley up close with shorts on. It looks like a tree trunk. He's right there.
Like Burrow Campbell. Not going old school, but he just kind of has the feel of
that would be the old school.
If you went back with the old big pads like they used to have in Earl Campbell, you put him in those big pads.
I do remember that when Earl Campbell used to come around the corner and put his head down like a battering ram. Yeah. Good old Costa Mesa. So you're going to be coming back and forth, and then we'll see you in Minnesota.
We're here the whole time. We're not leaving.
Good.
Oh, we're staying, and then we're going straight. We'll go up to Minnesota. So.
Yeah. Yep. That's Aiden O'Connell. JT back with you. Kevin Bolinger joins us from Fox 5, their sports director, as we're live from Costa Mesa. And it just feels like part of it emptied out. You had the players speak today. You watched practice. What do you think, day two?
The energy is sustaining, which is exactly what everybody wants, right? It's great to come out on first day with that energy and vibe. But as we've seen even through OTAs, this is a team that's going to come and bring it every day. So, and it's from minute one of pre-practice all the way to the very end. And so I think that's a good sign. You got your leaders setting the tone, and everybody's falling right in line doing the same thing.
I think that's a really good point you're making, because a lot of people say, working for the Raiders, you're rah-rah, you're always going to say things are right. No, there are times you see a camp, a veteran camp, a young camp. There's no doubt that this camp is going to be dominated by Max, Devontae, and a quarterback competition. I'm not calling it a quarterback controversy, because it's not at that point where it's a controversy yet. It could get there if we see a day, and I wanted to get your analysis in a moment of, if Aiden throws 2 picks and Gardner has 2 touchdowns and one's a bomb, all of Raider Nation is going to feed up, the momentum's going one way or another. I'm not sensing it. Both of them threw some great balls today and looked really comfortable in the pocket.
And you have two different styles of
Yeah.
quarterbacks, right? You have a traditional pocket passer in O'Connell, and then you have somebody who does their best work outside of the pocket a lot of times, which is Minshew. And how is that going to fit in with Luke Getzey's offense and with the tools that the Raiders have on the offense? I think they'll see that develop a little bit more when the pads come on. I mean, let's face it, it's been essentially passing league through OTAs and these first couple of days, but next Tuesday, when things start getting real and ramp it up, I think that's when the competition really begins.
As sports director at Fox 5, this great partnership that we have with the Raiders, you get a chance to talk to the quarterbacks and the coaches first, which is important. And you got a chance to sit down with the quarterbacks. Tell our viewers, our listeners, what you saw, their demeanors, and what you got out of it.
Number one, you see a confidence in Aiden O'Connell, maybe that we didn't see as much last year. I mean, it was a rookie who probably at this time last year in training camp looked at, all right, I'm going to be the number 3. You got Garoppolo, you got Hoyer, and then I'm going to be right there. Probably didn't think he was going to see the field a whole lot, and then ended up not only starting that original, that Charger game there early in the season, but then getting all those starts later on. There seems to be a little bit more confidence and calmness to his demeanor this year. And Minshew, he's a dude, right? I mean, he's just kind of he's a little offbeat, a little quirky, and he's been around the block. He's 4 teams in 6 years in the NFL. So he's seen and done it all. And I think that it's good that you bring somebody like that into the room as well. And maybe a good offset to Aiden to keep him calm and keep things loose. And the one thing that struck me with both of them, and sometimes when you have a quarterback competition and publicly guys will say the right things, may the best man win. But you know that there's still that kind of inner, I'm going to be this guy. These guys truly come across as we want to win. And if they think that quarterback A is the best one to get the wins, then I'll be ready to step in when needed. And I feel that they both have those thoughts going in. They're going to come out there and do their best. They'll make the decision. And if it's not them as QB1, they're going to be ready to step in if they have to.
Kevin Bolinger, Fox 5, joins as sports director. One of the points I wanted to make, and you just made it for me. Last year, it was supposed to be Jimmy Garoppolo the entire year. He got injured. He came in injured. He got injured. Then he got benched. He was benched because I thought he should have played in the Minnesota game. I just would have brought him into the third quarter and said, look, season's on the brink. If we win this game, we're going to make it to the playoffs. And that was the moment where AP and Aiden O'Connell had that commitment. We're going to play it out with him the rest of the way. The win against Kansas City, the franchise career high 63 points. Those are all positives. I don't see the national media building on that. So when the national media says the Raiders don't have a quarterback, like a broken record, they're wrong. They have 2 good quarterbacks. They're not elite. They're not great. No one's saying they are. But no one's framing it the way you just did. Aiden had all those games late where he played well. And the Minnesota game he didn't. But we learned that AP was going to stick with him after that and not bring him down and say, hey, you lost that game. The season's probably over. Let's give someone else a shot or let Jimmy finish out the season. I think that's a positive heading into this season.
No question. And if you look at both of these quarterbacks, this has been their entire football career. Going back to high school, they've had to fight to get the starting and to get the snaps. In college, both of them had to do it in multiple colleges in Gardner's case. But at Purdue, same with O'Connell. When they get to the NFL, Minshew has had to fight for every snap he's taken in the NFL. And Aiden worked his way into that system to get the confidence in AP to put him in that situation when he took over as the head coach. And he had the confidence of his fellow teammates on the offense. You could tell that just in the way that they speak about him. So he had to earn that. That wasn't going to be given to him just because they wanted a fresh start. That's something that he earned in practices, and it started in training camp and went all the way through, and they saw the growth and development in him. So from that standpoint, 2 options for the Raiders with guys who are going to fight and claw to get their opportunities.
Last one from a player perspective. When I saw Brock Bowers today, and I really watched him closely today, at these practices, you can't watch everything. The special teams on the far field, there's Max in the corner doing individuals, but Brock Bowers, when he was in that goal line situation and outside the 20, right around there, red zone, when he was coming across the middle of the field and Devontae's in the middle of a route and Jacoby Myers, wow. I'm telling you, Raider fans, I'm all in. This is chips all in the middle of the table because defensive coordinators aren't used to looking at Devontae Adams on film and seeing a Brock Bowers cutting underneath him. That's got to be explosive. It's got to work. My line's always run the plays like you ran in Henderson. Well, today they ran a play, and I said, that's what I want to see in the game. I want to see Devontae doing a stutter, heading to the corner, and Bowers leaking underneath and getting the ball as a safety and a corner are double-teaming Devontae.
And that's with the pick of Bowers. I mean,
Yeah.
Getsy has to be licking his chops with what he can
God,
do with the offense. And it's not just going to be just right now. I think as this thing develops, the more that they can just implement to give new looks throughout the season. You know, the second time you play Kansas City, the second time you play the Broncos in a season, to throw in new wrinkles that they haven't seen on tape. To me, that's going to be the exciting part of what Bowers brings to this offense and what they could potentially do with it.
Last thing with Fox 5, we're going back, and there's two big practices at Allegiant Stadium. And I heard off the record what the number is, like how many people are coming. There's a free event, and I think fans are going to come in. Where do you think Raider Nation is right now with this team? Because they've been through a lot. A year with no fans due to COVID. Rich Bisaccia for John Gruden in the emails, a playoff run. Josh McDaniels hired and fired. Antonio Pierce coming in straight out of Compton, getting the team together. Raider Nation has been through a lot, and I think right now they just want to win, and they want to win early, and we get the opportunity against the Chargers on the road.
Sometimes when you've been through the fire, it's a lot sweeter on the other side, and I think that's what Raider Nation is looking to get that, right? They've been through the roller coaster, and as this franchise tries to build a bigger fan base in Southern Nevada as well after they moved to Las Vegas, people watching them go through what they've gone through, and then if they see them come out on the other side successful, then that's the foundational pieces for building that piece with the younger kids right now and the next generation coming through. But that Charger game, last year we talked about the importance of week 1 with Denver and how important that game was to win. Here we have the same thing, and it's not just getting a win on the schedule. It is sending a message to the Chargers. You can bring in Jim Harbaugh, but this division, if anybody's taking over the Chiefs, it's not going to be the Chargers. It's going to be the Raiders. We're sticking our foot in the ground right now, and we're next in line, and we're ready to go. And to me, that's as important as the win is sending a message. You want it, you're going to have to come through us.
Fox 5 is coverage from right here in Costa Mesa. Thank you, Kevin.
Always a pleasure, JT.
There he is, Kevin Bolinger from Fox 5. Thanks a lot for doing this. And he's another gentleman who knows how to take off a headset, unlike a football player. Sometimes a football player will take it, slam it down, but Kevin knows he is a broadcast professional. See you, buddy. Thanks a lot for doing this. Let me get to the calls. Remember, we are a caller-driven show with interviews, players. We're delivering for you live from Costa Mesa. I'm telling you, I'm the last one here. Practice ended. The buses are gone. I'm here, like I always am, here for the Raider Nation. And Chris in West Oakland on the top games in Raider history. Go ahead, Chris. Mm-hmm.
JT, you good?
Mm-hmm. Yes, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, and I'm really enjoying it out here. Miss my wife and kids. I'll head back to Vegas. I'll do Sunday, Monday radio in Vegas. Got a Raider event on Tuesday night, and then I'm back here next week for another 4 days, and then another 4 days the following week after that, and then we're on the road to Minneapolis to take on the Vikings for the first preseason game. So there's a lot going on. We are excited. There's a tremendous amount happening here. Today was another good practice. I'm not a guy that's going to sit here every day and tell you that practice is great. I'm not. That's not my gig. I interview the insiders and the players, and we got plenty of time to wonder how great practice is going to be. If there is a bad day in practice, and we saw bad days last year with Jimmy Garoppolo, bad days. If you have a bad practice, or God forbid someone gets carted off or hurt, that's what camp is about. That's what we're doing here. Other than that, it's weeks and a month before football starts. We're just trying to give you the access that you deserve here as we're at Raiders camp. When life speeds up, Cane's has you covered. This school year, choose Raising Cane's as your after-school destination with hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crinkle-cut fries, fresh coleslaw, buttery Texas toast, and their craveable plain sauce. Order online at RaisinCanes.com or through their mobile app. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love. And we'll get into this because one of the main reasons that we're here is Raising Cane's. And get Cane's for your brains. When life speeds up, order online at RaisinCanes.com or through their mobile app for cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crinkle-cut fries, fresh coleslaw, which I love, the buttery Texas toast, and their craveable cane sauce, the best sauce in all of the world. Raising Cane's as your after-school destination, one love. All right, when we come back, I'm going to get into the Sea of Hands. And we're going to hopefully take your calls because Chris in West Oakland was at Sea of Hands and made it on the field. What do you think about that? That's one of our games we'll get to. Looking forward to maybe one more guest, another hour here. I'm going to have dinner tonight with one of my I'm always a fraternity brother, and have a couple of Remy Martin cocktails from training camp. That second Cane's is the one. Cane's for your brains, that's it. That's the one. Right, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to stay here a while. How do I feel about the Yankees? I'm pissed off about the Yankees. I'm actually furious about the Yankees. Yes, the Raider franchise has been irrelevant for years. Well, we got a little wise ass here, that little Van Smack guy. I got to put that little punk in his place and mute him or put him in timeout. What do I got to do here? I don't want to have to put you in timeout here on this show. So we'll be saying, JT, you're on Raider Nation Radio, been hosting local events the next couple of days for SoCal fans. I will not be doing this. There's a lot of restrictions here on what we can do, as y'all know. Yes, it's a whole new season, everybody. We're doing a lot of work here, and we're excited about that. I'm going to check out who's still here. Give me a second here. All right, everybody. Good to have you here. Appreciate you being here, everybody. Yeah, there's a lot of people close by. You know, there's a couple of limitations that we have here for fans because, this is not the Raiders market even anymore, but we know what the Raiders mean in this market. All righty. Yes, sir.
Break it down or?
No, I'm here till 2.
You're gonna do?
Yeah, they know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the last one out. So I'll just find my way out through that front gate and walk out of there.
Yes, sir.
You got it. Thank you. All right. There you go. Look at that. Yep. Yeah, we'll do it at the top of the hour.
The biggest storyline here at Raiders training camp is the battle for starting quarterback. Aidan O'Connell and Jordan Minshew are battling it out. The biggest storyline here at Raiders training camp is starting quarterback position. Aidan O'Connell and Jordan Minshew.
Andre James, I'm gonna tweet out. It was good.
The real competition is going to get until the pads go on and we go into a full contact situation.
Oh, I'm losing my mind on the Yankees. Jeez, Bobby, can't even beat the Mets.
The Raiders are hoping for some big things from their defense this year. So we're seeing training camp.
It's Devontae Adams who's quelled any national media speculation that he's not into the Raiders. God, there's some bad radio. I'm probably gonna do that here because we're gonna get to the sea of hands at the top of the hour. This is our live coverage in Costa Mesa of Raiders training camp that's brought to you by the Black Hole. The Black Hole is home to football's most notorious fans with over 40 chapters worldwide. If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. New members will receive 20% off all website purchases, exclusive member hotel discounts for home and away games, access to members-only merchandise, and be the first to know about all the upcoming events. Now, here's the key. We're not on this trip without the Black Hole. Black Hole is heart and soul throughout my radio career. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. What a job by Mark Jones and this entire team. Once a member, always a member. So if you bleed silver and black and want to belong to one of the most passionate fan clubs in all of sports, look no further. Visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com. So quickly, I'm really pissed off today. And I'll tell you why. And I've been saving this because I had Andre James on, Kevin Bolinger, and Eric Allen. So I get up today and I'm hanging around. And well, last night, went to an unbelievable dinner in Newport Beach with one of the Raider sales executives here. And I'm coming home and we had a cigar. And I get to the room and I put on the 11 o'clock Sports Center. 11 o'clock ESPN Sports Center goes around the NFL. They go around the NFL. It's Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Joe Burrow got this new blonde haircut. You see his haircut. And they're going around to Jim Harbaugh and all of this. And no mention of the Raiders. None. Yesterday, Max Crosby and Devontae Adams spoke. And Sports Center didn't give the Raiders 10 seconds. So I made note of that. I went to bed. I got up this morning. I'm driving in Los Angeles. I'm listening to local radio. I hear a Charger propagandist guy out there saying that Jim Harbaugh is going to win 5 to 6 more games for the Chargers. 5 to 6. And he mentions the right tackle, but doesn't know the right tackle's name. Mentions that, Austin Eckler's no longer there. Can't mention the running back because they don't know the players. They're just buying into this garbage that the Chargers, because Jim Harbaugh And they showed Jim Harbaugh at Chargers practice, and there were pockets of empty fans in the stands. Chargers, I know, are going to have more fans with Jim Harbaugh. They still have no fans when it comes to, comparison to the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Giants, whatever the team you want to pick. They have more fans than the Chargers. I said to myself, you know something? I'm really upset by this, but I shouldn't be upset. I know this better than anyone who's ever been on Raiders radio, any affiliate from KMBR 1050, whoever, me. I'm the guy. I'm the guy who listens to this and has been paying attention to this for over 25 years. And I'm almost at the breaking point where I'm just frustrated as all blank to the lack of respect that this team is getting. They won 8 games last year. Look, as I told Eric Allen, if the Raiders won 4 or 5 games last year and the league thought they're going to win 6 this year, no problem with that. They won 8 games. They're on the doorstep of the playoffs. This team is evaluated by one thing, playoffs and championships. Championships is the one thing. So I'm just aggravated. I'm angry. I'm angry about it because I've seen this movie before. And as I talked to Chris in West Oakland, I talked to a couple other friends, and it doesn't matter what I say. Nothing matters. All that matters is wins. All Mark Davis cares about is winning. And Antonio Pierce and Devontae Adams. If this team doesn't have the biggest chip on their shoulder that they've had in 20 years, I'll be shocked. This team is going to get aggravated. This team is going to start punching back. They're going to start punching back on the field for this fan base. They're not going to put up with this garbage. And the Raider brand in Vegas all the way globally has never been bigger. Now, they haven't won in a while. We all know that. And the only way that I'm going to calm down on this is the Raiders have to win. But I'm at some type of breaking point with the propaganda that I'm seeing with the Chargers. The guy on the radio actually said, quote, I think the NFL wants to see the Chargers win this year because they gave the Raiders the first game against the Chargers. They almost drove off the road like the Raiders are an automatic win for the Chargers. I mean, it was the Raiders who beat Kansas City, not the Chargers or Denver. So it's put up or shut up time. But I can tell you, you got the right guy here on YouTube at JT the Brick YT. You got the right guy on the app, and you got the right guy in this organization, me, to fight back at this just garbage. The Raiders deserve more respect, and we're going to earn it throughout the Raider Nation. Hour number 2, led by the Sea of Hands, next. Yeah, there we go. There we go. What's the plan?
I just want to let you know the gate will be locked, so
Yeah.
I know we parked up front, so go out
That's what I did
this
yesterday.
side. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Shoot down.
They all know I'm here, right? I mean, no, everybody should know I'm on the air. I mean,
I heard you over. I was like, hey, JT, because they will talk to them and say, can y'all be down by 1?
Mhm.
Because we wanted to close the gate.
Yeah.
But you got a 2-hour show.
Yeah, I thought everyone kind of knows that. So
It's all
we're good. Thanks for
It's
having
all
me. I'll make sure I find my way out.
Oh, yeah.
Proper
Yeah.
way.
Like I said, just that
The
part
far
right
end.
over there.
You got it. Thanks, my
Yeah.
friend. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Definitely.
Yep. So I am the last one standing here. That was my good friend from security reminding me that I am the only one here. So I will have to leave next hour and kind of lock it up. So that's exciting. I'm all good, man. I got my ride here. Thank you for offering. I'm all set to go. Bobby always has a cigarette at the top of the hour. We let Bobby back in Vegas have his dart. Yeah, Andre James was cool. I hope everyone enjoyed that. That was fun. Well, thanks to everybody who listens, man. That's what matters the most. We appreciate that. Thank you. So I just heard some breaking news that Southwest Airlines is going to they're getting rid of open seating. How is that possible? For the first time in history, Southwest is doing away with open seating. Whoa. Wow, I don't like that move. No, that isn't you're right, Thor, that isn't. It's 365-9200. Yep, my bad. 365-9200. Look at Thor, man. Thor, you're a sharp man. All right, let's get ready. Hour number 2. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. So that's number what's 33? Oh, that's a big one. Okay. Okay. Vegas is the global hub of the Raider Nation. Now it's got to act that way every home game.
Raider Nation, as I always say, you show up and we'll show out.
JT the Brick.
It's a real thing. It's a tangible thing. You get in the building and you feel it.
It's a war to track down Kansas City. I've always been a big fan of running the football.
Hand up to Zamir, cuts to the right side. First down 35, first 40, down the 50, near side 40, 35-30, and Zamir White might have just salted away a Raiders win.
I'm always looking for opportunities to compete, man, and this is a great one here.
And now,
Raider Nation unite!
here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, hour number 2, JT, the last one here in Costa Mesa. Actually had security come to me, and they're great, saying, is your show over? I said, no, my show's noon to 2. Do you know how to get out of here? I said, yes, I think I know how to get out of here, but I don't want to climb the fence. I mean, this thing is secure, man. We're in Costa Mesa, California, and we are on lockdown in this place, man. This is Raiders, man. They got security everywhere, cameras looking at you, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous out here, and heading back to Vegas tomorrow. And I wish I could take my car and helicopter it to Vegas, because everybody's saying, oh, because remember, I lived here a long time, but they're saying it's different now, man. Friday, getting to Vegas, leaving L.A., ooh, not even leaving L.A., leaving Costa Mesa in the OC, Orange County, but I'll find my way home. We'll get home Friday night. I get home, I have a bunch of Modelo's waiting for me as we have today's show and tomorrow's show, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll be back here next week, and it's really a nice setup here, and we're excited. So if you want to get through, it's just me, nobody else. I'll in one security guard, so you can have access inside the Raiders training camp. 702-365-9200. 702-365-9200. There's supposed to be thousands upon thousands of Raider fans listening, watching, doing all that. We want to hear from a few. The season has begun. We're at training camp. We're not making this up, man. We're here. So let's get some Raider fans going here and get rolling. As I said at the end of the last hour, I think the Raiders are being completely disrespected by the media. And I like Aiden O'Connell a lot. I don't know Gardner Minshew well. I've interviewed him a few times. I can't get Gardner Minshew on the show and say, hey, everybody thinks the Raiders aren't good because of you. You know, I'm not going to do that type of radio.
But Gardner Minshew, Andre James admitted it. They're hearing what they're hearing in the background. And they're hearing the fact that, they're not hearing anything because no one seems to want to give the Raiders any respect. And they were an 8-win team last year. They were so much better than Denver and the Chargers last year. They were clearly better. And both Denver got rid of Jerry Jeudy. They've lost a lot of players. I think Denver drafted well, but they got Bo Nix. We didn't want Bo Nix. We had no interest in Bo Nix. And Denver's got him, and it's going to take him a while to get him going. And the Chargers lost a lot of players. They're playmakers. But Jim Harbaugh all of a sudden looks like touchdown Jesus, that he's going to come in and the Chargers are going to be completely different. They got a defensive coordinator from Michigan. I don't remember him coaching in the NFL, and the Chargers are supposed to be 4 to 5 wins better. Okay, I don't believe it. If I'm wrong, you know where to find me. And then it comes to Kansas City, and I think the Raiders, they're not as good as Kansas City, but I think they're getting closer to Kansas City than they were a couple of years ago. So I'm not picking wins. I'm not going to sit here. 9, 10 wins is where the Raiders should end up. It could be 11 or 12. It shouldn't be lower than 9, in my opinion, or 8. And if it is, there's going to be problems. There's going to be problems. There's going to be some players that won't be here, players that might want to leave, other better players they might want to get in. So I believe that this team has a moment this year to come out and do it right. Do it right and come out quickly. Roger Goodell in the league did the Raiders no favors with the schedule, opening up with the Harbaugh brothers on the road. I'm going to beat that topic into the ground. And then after that, if the Raiders can get going, if the Raiders can start off 4-2, 3-3, 5-4, whatever it is, I think on the back end of that schedule, they'll be playoff bound. I really do. The only thing that could hold the Raiders back from making the playoffs or a tough year is a slow start. So that leads me to Costa Mesa, where everything looks pretty good. I mean, it really is. A lot of people are asking me, what's up with Colton Miller? I saw him working out on the side. Colton's coming off a surgery that he had, and they're bringing him along at the pace of the trainers and the doctors. I'm not concerned about that at all. If Raider fans are, I can't walk you off the ledge. I'm not a trainer or a doctor. And Jackson Powers, when you look at what we have with a great left guard, center, right guard, when you look at the new impact player we got from Oregon, he's not ready to play yet. He is going through a situation with the trainers and doctors to be prepared to come back. Everything that I've heard is he'll be ready to go here pretty soon. If that changes, the Raiders will tell us about that coming up here. So that's about it. Brock Bowers looked great. Today I saw Aiden O'Connell and Minshew make big throws. Jacoby Myers, I tweeted out a photo of him, a video of him making a catch in front of me, just in one-on-one drills, which were fantastic. And then Zamir White. Looks to be Zamir White, the guy that no one knows. Did anybody watch college football and see what this guy did at Georgia? He wasn't playing at Toledo, man. He wasn't playing at some small school, the Citadel. He was playing at Georgia, and he was a pretty good player. He was backing up Josh Jacobs, and he's ready to go now. So with everything that's happening here, the depth of the offensive line, Andre James joined us earlier. He's like, when we were done with the interview, he's like, all good, JT, we're good. We got a good group. We got a good group that we're excited about. All right, what we're going to get into now is our games as we get to the 7th greatest game in Raider history. Some people think it's 1. Some people think it's in the top 5. It could be in the top 10. I have it here at this place. Let's get out to one of the greatest Raider games of all time in our top 10 list.
We now present the Raiders' top 10 games of all time.
And the Raiders that won a Super Bowl championship, they are the world champs.
The history of the Raiders.
He is going to get inside the 5, touchdown.
The games that helped make the Raiders one of the most recognized franchises in NFL history.
Just win, baby.
The Raiders' top 10 games of all time begins now. Number 7.
All right, number 7, we go back to December 21st, 1974. The Oakland Raiders 28, the Miami Dolphins 26. This game is called the Sea of Hands. Arguably one of the greatest NFL games ever, and no doubt one of the greatest games in the history of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The Miami Dolphins were defending 2-time Super Bowl champions. This game was nothing more than a heavyweight fight, featuring 6 lead changes, the last of which came on a play with the name game of the Sea of Hands. The venerable Kirk Gowdy NBC Sports top play-by-play telecaster for many years, called the 1974 AFC playoff game between the Raiders and the Dolphins the greatest game I've ever seen. The Raiders, trailing by 5, needed one touchdown. On 1st and goal from the 8, Ken Stabler dropped back looking for Bolitnikov, who was covered. The Miami rush was closing in, finally, with defensive end Vern Dender charging and clinging at his legs, pulling him down. Stabler looped the ball forward to the left side of the front of the end zone, where running back Clarence Davis was working his way back to give his quarterback a target. In a sea of hands, Davis outfought a crowd of white jerseys to come down with the ball and go to the turf, clutching the football in his chest in clear sole possession. The Raiders at that time had scored twice in the final 4:37 to defeat the Dolphins and move forward to the AFC Championship, commonly referred to as the Sea of Hands, one of the great games in the history of the NFL. As we take a look at this, Miami on the scoreboard with a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Winkle will kick off. Ray Guy normally would kick off, but he has a tender left knee. He kicks the ball off. Matt Moore coming out to the 20, to the 25, to the 30. He's at the 40, at the 50. Matt Moore is on the way. And he is going to kick off that run. What a ball game is it? I said it's going to be important. I didn't mean
3.
Well, laughing going on that time in the booth as Miami on the road takes a 7-0 lead, but he was the snake. Kenny Stabler, in one of the finest performances, clutch performances of his career, gets the Raiders on the board with this touchdown to Smith.
7:49 to go in the half. 3rd and 5. Oakland at the Miami 31. Plenty of time. There it goes deep to Smith. Touchdown. Billy Smith. All right. This crowd has gone crazy. Look at those blacks. The black handkerchiefs away.
3.
The black hanky is gone.
Unbelievable play, a memorable moment for Kenny the Snake Stabler. That made it 7-7 in the second quarter. We move to the third quarter play where our great friend, he's like a second dad to me, the great Freddie Bolitnikov with this touchdown catch.
Second down 10. Raiders on the Dolphins 13. Miami leading 10-7. Minnesota beat Chicago today 30-14. There's a pass lob to Bolitnikov. If he cuts down, he did get down. He was forced out of bounds, carried out of bounds. Here it is. This is something to see. A better performance. The Fred Bolitnikov is putting out today. He gets hit.
3.
Takes the guy off the ball.
Freddie B making a great catch, feet in bounds, the great hands of the great number 25, Fred Bolitnikov. Hey, we couldn't forget Branch in this game as we move on, as Kenny Stabler understood the magnitude of this game and the offensive weapons he has finding Cliff.
Bolitnikov has 6 receptions, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. Look over there now. Here's the deep look at Brad. Deep. He's got it!
3.
That was a big play on that play. So Cliff Branch involved in the game. One of the great breakaway catches of Cliff Branch. Speed kills in the end zone of that game. And we move on to Miami, where Moore was really taking over this game. He was the best player on the field that day for Miami.
2:27 to go. 114 yards for Costa. Miami's really come back. After Oakland shut them with a 72-yard pass play. Malone outside. He's at the 20. He's still going. He is at the end there. Touchdown. Denny Malone. Miami's taking a lead back again.
3.
Larry Mills deserves it up.
All right, so at that point in time, the game was on the line, and this is the catch that will go down in Raider history as one of the most important of all time, the sea of hands catch. Here's Kenny Stabler to Davis again.
No timeouts left for Oakland. There's your score, the time. Miami scored first in the game, 89-yard kickoff return by rookie Matt Moore. Oakland came back to time. Miami went ahead in a field goal, 10-7 at the half. There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied, he throws. It is.
Three.
And we know the sound, it's old sound. It's a little bit hard to hear. I understand that, but that was it. The catch of the sea of hands. And then our buddy, Phil Villapiano, one of the great Raider legends of all time, ices the game with this interception.
Tracy's asking the referee to quiet the crowd down. Miami fans famous to wave their white handkerchiefs with it off and score the orange bowl. The Raider fans have been waving the black socks today. The silver and black for the Raiders. 28-26 Oakland. Tracy retreating. Time moving. He heaves it long. It is
Three.
Great that Phil Villapiano, in one of the greatest Raider games of all time, plays a huge role on the defensive side. So the Raiders win the Sea of Hands on December 21st, 1974. And that comes in as our seventh greatest game in Raider history. Could have been top three. We understand, as you're sensing where we're going in the summer series as we try to get inside the top 10. There's a lot of big games here, and we chose that one there. Probably got it wrong. Could have been a little bit higher here, but if you're doing the math the way we are, we're looking at championships too and other big games. That was a big one because it was a clutch, come from behind, memorable win. And it was a postseason game that knocked out the 72 Dolphins, who were still really good in 73 into 74. And Don Shula still to this day talked about the Raiders having an advantage, watering down the field. Listen to Shula, Zonka, and the late, great John Madden on the conditions of the field in Oakland.
The footing was so bad. I mean, if I'm able to get back to the football, I'm able to make the catch and probably still get up and crawl into the end zone for a touchdown. So it just shows you how critical the footing was in that ball game. I mean, there were numerous plays where, because the field was so wet and you couldn't get good traction, people were falling down all over the place.
It was strange that it was a wet field, and that was the only rain or wet spots around. So you had to figure something happened.
Let's see. Field conditions when you play against Madden. A lot of argument about that. Wonder why. We go out, there's a dry season, but the field is a bog. Like, wait a minute. Could they be trying to slow our fast wide receivers down because they're a little hurt in the backfield in the secondary?
Our field was always wet, and it's below sea level, and we never watered it. But they wanted to believe that we did, but it didn't make sense. I mean, I have Cliff Branch out there, who's the fastest guy in football. Why would I want to slow down the game? So it was one of those things that you defend it. No, we don't. It's below sea level.
Mad to get all, I didn't get it, but somebody did.
So after a while, I just said, okay, if they want to believe that, I'll just tell them, okay, we did it. They never watered anything. But if he wanted to believe that we watered,
Three.
I'll tell him we watered it.
Madden did that a lot. I'm not saying they watered the field down or not. I wasn't there for the Sea of Hands, but those accusations are fair, and the fact that we have the sound of that is amazing. And Madden always said, you think we cheat? All right, we do cheat. You think we water down the field? Yeah, you're right, we watered down the field. You think we play tough and we're cheap? You're right. What are you going to do about it? Right? The great John Madden line, what are you going to do about it? And the complaints from the 72, 73, and now 74 Dolphins playing at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Here's another good one. Madden, Fu, and Stabler on Freddie B. Freddie B, puking a little bit and trying to get his nerves calmed down before this big game.
There would be a couple of minutes before we would go out in the field, and Fred would be throwing up in the bathroom, and everyone could hear it because, it's so quiet in a locker room. And then, you didn't have to have a watch. You didn't have to do anything. When Fred threw up, we were ready to go.
Nobody's treated themselves worse than Fred Bolinger. Freddie could not eat. Freddie puked all the time.
I would tell our center, Jim Otto, if Freddie catches a ball, go right to the official and tell him we need a new ball. Because you couldn't throw the ball after Freddie caught it.
His puke would be stuck to his stickum that was on his socks. The man didn't take care of himself at all. Great receiver.
I have never heard this sound before. This is unbelievable. Great job by Bobby and getting all this sound on the Sea of Hands games. Here's Kenny Stabler on what was happening before the great catch called the Sea of Hands in that game.
I came off the sidelines, and John's an unmade bed, Kenny, what you want to do? What we're going to do? What, this.
The play was designed for either of the Raiders' two great receivers, Fred Biletnikoff on the right or Cliff Branch on the left. Both would be covered, setting up one of the most important finishes in NFL history.
Yeah, and finally, our good friend Phil Villapiana, who I texted today because he played such a big role in this game. Foo on his famous interception that sealed the game in the fourth quarter.
Nobody wanted that game more than John Madden. Nobody deserved it more than John Madden. And I went and gave John the ball, and I'll never forget. He stuck it up in the air. It just looked great. There was a sea of people all around him. What a game. What a game. It was one of the greatest in my life to be part of that game.
There's been a lot of controversy about that football over the years because I talked to Raider Mort, and he thought he had that ball, literally the ball. And other people said they had the ball of the Sea of Hands. It is a pretty controversial topic. It's one of the most important footballs of all time. Who has that football? It's a famed piece of memorabilia in Raider history. I don't know the answer to that, but a lot of people have talked about that over the years. JT, live from Costa Mesa, Raiders training camp. We're taking your phone calls on the top 10 games of all time. We just came in at number 7 with the Sea of Hands, December 21st. 1974. So that's where we'll be for the rest of the show. I'm wide open. I'm the last guy here. For those on YouTube, I'll say goodbye. I appreciate our YouTube audience here as we're growing this day by day. I told you we'd give you in-depth team coverage. We're giving it to you live on YouTube. JT the Brick YT is how you subscribe for free. And you get in and you see us during the commercials. We talk to everybody. People are talking back and forth in the live chat. Q's coming up at the top of the hour. So that's what we're doing here. I am going to have a great, great night tonight. I got a lot of friends here in town who are, fitting me in. So it's good when you're kind of on a working vacation. Yes, it's still July, everybody. Football season is on the horizon, and we're taking advantage of it as the Raiders are on the road in Costa Mesa. Our live coverage of the training camp brought to you by Tequila Commissario, the Ferrari of all tequilas. All right, man. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. We'll do probably the first hour tomorrow here on the stream. And then I'm going to hit the road and head back to Vegas, fly out next time. And more players, more coaches. We should have a pretty good day tomorrow in the first hour of the show. Make sure you don't miss it. And do me a favor, share this live stream with everybody and get everybody to sign up, man. We appreciate you.